Hey everyone.
Hi, Jamie. I don't know if that echo is coming from my end or where that's coming from. I apologize. I'll keep my mic muted just in case.
Eric, you're showing up on here twice.
Now I hear you echoing too.
And the sound isn't coming through for me when you talk.
Yeah, well, we're hearing everything you say 3 times.
Charles, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're echoing too, Carl. I don't know what's going
on. Say that again, Eric.
Well, I can hear you, but you're echoing.
You're good on my end.
That's for you, Eric.
Good for you, Ray. Am I echoing at your end, Ray?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
And then feedback started when you popped on.
I can't figure out why. Well,
Charles, you got that boat seaworthy yet?
I do, and I have a second one. I got 2 now.
Well, congratulations.
This summer, I'm going to take it to Newbern and sail down from Newbern across the Pamlico Sound to Ocracoke.
Okay. Take some pictures for me.
I will.
Janie, I'm going to go grab some earbuds to see if I can hear any better with those.
Okay.
Hey JD, this is Nick. You might have said this, but it looked like Eric Braun is connected twice. I wonder if he signed in twice or if he's got a phone open.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Jane, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All right. Well, it's 6 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all for being able to make it tonight. We do have a quorum, so 4 out of 6. And what's happened is our chair and vice chair, their seats are only for a year at a time. And so those expired at the end of December. And I've sent an email out to you all about doing another oath because some of the terms have changed. So we'll get to that later on and in person to be notarized. So what we need to do first then is we need a nomination for a chair and a vote on that.
Carl Schaefer, I nominate Eric as chair.
Ray Carney, I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right, passes. Congratulations, Eric. You're the chair for another year. You can continue on the meeting.
Thanks very much. For some reason, I've lost my video here, and I apologize. I don't know what's going on here at this end, but nonetheless, I guess we'll continue. All right, is my picture back now?
No.
No? Weird. It's up on my screen, but not on yours.
I see you up on top, but I don't see you down below. So you're on top.
Okay,
You're in the ledger.
weird. All right, let me try one more setting thing here. For some reason, we're having technical difficulties at my end, so.
Your name's at the bottom, in the middle of the screen. So I think we'd be all right if you
Huh.
went forward.
Well, I am not sure what's going on.
So Eric, it's been mentioned before, but this is
Yes.
Steve, by the way. You are logged in
Yeah.
twice.
Twice. All right. I tell you what. Let me back out and come back in one more time.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Hello there. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Hear you well.
Huh. And I still can't see myself. Well, I am not sure what's going on, so I apologize. Try one more setting. How about now?
You're on.
All right. Excellent. I apologize. Thanks very much for the vote of confidence, everyone. I hope I can serve the town and yourselves well in this new one-year term. It comes to the point now where we elect a vice chair. Carl had been our vice chair in the past term, and I wonder if anyone would like to submit a nomination either for Carl or anyone else.
I thought Carl did a nice job. I'd like to nominate him for the return.
Thanks very much, Ray. I'll second that nomination. All in favor of Carl Schaefer being appointed to the vice chairmanship for the coming year, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. And so it is unanimously that Carl is appointed the vice chair. Moving on to our agenda, we have three items of business ahead of us. And I'm going to ask for someone to move for the adoption of the agenda or to propose any modifications that may be necessary.
Carl Schaefer, I move we adopt the agenda as stated.
Thanks, Carl. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Ray. All in favor of adopting the agenda as stated, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The agenda is unanimously adopted. Janie, I have not seen minutes from January the 10th. Are they still floating around? Because they never got back to my email box.
No, we don't have the minutes yet.
Okay.
So you'll have 2 sets of minutes.
Two
to
sets at
review.
our next meeting. All right,
Yes.
very well. So we'll bypass item 6 and defer that to our next meeting. And that brings us to new business. And Ms. Phelps is going to present the plat modifications proposal for Corbett Landing.
Yes, thank you. So you've all received the the request in your packet. Essentially, what the request is for a modification of the previously approved preliminary plat. So there is one proposed emergency gated access to the very far north, which is remaining. And then there is two main entrances, and they are wanting to remove the northern of the two entrances. When they first came to me about it, I looked through the previous subdivision ordinance because that's what they were approved under. So that's what regulations they go by. And I also reached out to NCDOT and the fire marshal, and both of them are okay with that change. We haven't received anything official from NCDOT, just an email saying that they're okay with it. So I'll leave that up to you all to make that recommendation on if you approve the change or not. This is also going to go to the Board of Commissioners just for them to review, since it's still a preliminary plat, and for their decision as well. The applicants are here, Charles Eliason, who is their surveyor, Rexford Dupree, who is the developer and owner of the property, and also Zach Shipman, who is the engineer. So if you have any questions for me, I can do my best to answer them. Otherwise, the applicants are here. I'm not sure if they have a presentation or anything, or if they'd like to speak on anything about it.
We would invite the applicant to present anything they may have. If there's no formal presentation, I'd like to begin with a question, and that is, has the fire marshal approved this, and how going forward is the public safety aspect of this going to rest with one entrance and exit as opposed to the two in the original plat?
Hey, this is Zach Shipman. I'm the applicant civil engineer. We have been in discussions with the fire marshal and with NCDOT. The previously approved preliminary subdivision had this second northern driveway connection, but if you look at the site plan, there is a horizontal site distance issue around this curve that we feel presents a safety issue. And DOT also concurs that that is a safety issue. So in our discussions with the fire marshal, we believe, and I think he does as well, that the main driveway entrance and the emergency access that we're still showing do provide sufficient emergency vehicular access.
Okay.
As I understand that he is okay with that.
Thank you. Board members, anyone else have further questions on this proposed modification?
Carl here, just to clarify the engineer's comments there. What I'm looking at, I guess sheet CO or subsection C-07. Is that where the emergency access will be?
That's correct. So on C-07 at the very top of that sheet, that's the emergency vehicular access. And then to the south is the main vehicular access. The original approved preliminary plat, you can see that cul-de-sac that Janie's drawn right now. That was the driveway configuration. And so vehicles turning out, making a left turn, we're going to have to, there's a site distance issue there. We had originally proposed a site distance easement. But in our discussions with DOT and as we're working through the driveway approval process, they are less than enthused about that option. And so they asked us to remove this driveway. And so that's the nature of our request tonight.
And at the emergency access, is that locked and then accessed by law enforcement and emergency access people via key, or how does that work?
It is. There's a gate that we're proposing, and that gate would have a Knox box, which is a box with a key in it that emergency fire folks could use to open that gate only. It's not a paved access. It's called grass pave. So it's a material that allows for the emergency trucks to drive over it. But it would not be visually evident to people who were trying to use the subdivision that it's an access way. So yeah, it will be locked and for emergency personnel only.
Thank you.
Any further questions? If not, I'll ask if we can have a motion to either approve or deny this proposed preliminary plat modification before we send it on to the town board.
Carl Schaefer, I move to approve.
Thank you, Carl. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Eric.
Thanks, Ray. A vote now from the members. If there's no further discussion or questions, all in favor of this, aye.
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 All opposed, nay. I hear no opposition, so this preliminary plat modification is passed and goes on to the Board of Commissioners.
Eric, can I?
Yes,
say
go right ahead, Ray.
Yeah, Kelly Gomez is now in charge of the cemeteries for the Historical Association.
Uh-huh.
And we're meeting out there tomorrow
Yes.
at 1 o'clock. And I just wanted to make sure if there's people from the group is still available. I haven't heard back from them. I want to make sure that gets confirmed.
Okay. Well, we'll give that another shout out when we get to a board member discussion at the end of the meeting. But thanks for the reminder on that, Ray. I appreciate it.
The reminder was more for the group, the
yes, I understand.
Corbett Landing people.
All right, moving on to the preliminary plat major subdivision review for Northwood Subdivision Phase 3. Ms. Phelps has another presentation for us.
Yep, thank you. So again, this was in your packet. It's very straightforward. It's just part of the Northwood development, and they have submitted their Phase 3 plat, preliminary plat, which it actually differs from the very original submission or an approval that they had, but it was modified in January of 2021. So what you have in your packet matches that approved modification that was done back then. The applicants are also here from CE Group. So if you have any questions for them or me, then we can go ahead and take those.
This looks pretty straightforward. Board members, do you have any questions for the applicants on this?
No.
There being no questions, I'll. Or were you about to say something, Ray or Carl?
Yeah, Carl here. I was just going to ask Janie. Is this basically a reiteration of what we looked at a couple of years ago? Or are there changes, significant changes?
No, well, I wasn't here a couple of years ago, but whenever they come through and do a new phase of the subdivision, they're supposed to still go through the process.
Right.
So
okay.
that's what was the information that was passed down to me.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Jamie,
kind of what I was thinking.
Can you
Go ahead, Ray.
explain? There was two different plans on there, one above the other. Can you explain the differences between them? Because there is a difference. One looks like there's an additional lot number. I think it's lot number 9 on the top view. And it looks like they've removed some of the extra space or what changes? Why do we get the two different prints, and what's the difference between them?
I'll let Mitch describe that. I think one's sort of just an inset to see a closer up of the lots that they're actually going to develop, it looks like. And then the other one is just an overall to give you the area. But Mitch Craig with the CE Group is on the call.
Mitch,
or David Clark.
If you can address Ray Carney's question.
Yes, sir. This is Mitch Craig with CE Group, and I'll answer that question. The first one is the overall layout of the entire Phase 3. Lot 9 was actually part of Phase 2. So that lot's already been platted. But that's to show the overall. The second sheet is more for the right of way of the Landing Drive extension.
Okay. That makes sense. Does that answer your question, Ray?
Yeah, so lot 9 will come up at a later date, correct?
Lot
9's already been done.
Yeah, no, lot 9 was
already been done.
Previous.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any further board member questions or discussion on this? If not, I'll ask for a motion to either approve or deny the preliminary plat for Eco Northwood MUPD Phase 3.
Carl Schaefer, move to approve.
Thank you, Carl. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks very much, Ray. If you moved and seconded, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, aye.
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 All opposed, nay.
Excuse me, Eric. I'm sorry
Go
to
ahead,
interrupt.
Carl.
It looks like Frida is muted, so I'm not sure if she, if we're, I'm not hearing from her.
I was imagining I had heard Frida's voice. Frida, are you there? I see her online on my screen. I wonder if she's having the same technical difficulties that I had. Hello, Frida. Janie, can you reach out to Frida by text, perhaps? And I don't have my phone here. Otherwise, I would do so and see if she can join us for this vote.
Yeah, I know she's multitasking.
Yeah, she's not listed on any of the upper screen.
Hi, Frida. Frida, do you vote yay or nay on the conditional zoning request? I'm sorry, on the preliminary plat major subdivision review, the Northwood subdivision Phase 3. We have three ayes, and we're waiting for your vote. Hello, Frida. I heard a little burst of sound from her end, and we lost her. Hello, Frida.
Frida, if you're able to put it in the chat too, that's fine.
Yeah, if you want to just type it in if you're having audio trouble. Or raise your hand virtually in Zoom.
From a semantic point of view, Janie, or maybe this is for the for Paul. We have a quorum present on the meeting, but if Frida doesn't vote, does that affect the outcome of what we're doing?
Excellent question.
Well, when
Frida's here.
Hi guys.
I'm sorry, but I can't.
Oh my gosh.
Frida, we need your vote on the major plat, on the preliminary plat major subdivision review, and we have three ayes, and we'd like to know: are you an aye or a nay?
She went on mute again.
Yeah, Paul can correct me if I'm wrong, because I saw he was on, but since we have 2 absent, that brings us down to 4, and then those votes aren't counted, so it's a majority vote anyways.
Okay, so that takes care of that then. Thank you.
So we can proceed, Janie. Is that
yes. We can just put it in the minutes.
So okay,
that she
so Frida's present, but we record her as what, abstaining?
Yes.
Okay.
She didn't say anything.
All right. So the preliminary plat major subdivision review as PB 2328 Northwood Phase 3 passes, and we send that on to the town board. Our third item, the conditional zoning request PB 2325, is before us now, and Janie, you have the floor again.
Yes. Thank you. I'll clarify something real quick because I know the zoning case file number is different than what you've all been used to. And that's because we now are using an online or a permitting system that the county also uses. So this is just our way of keeping track because we put it in the system and there's no sense in really supplying 2 different numbers for it. So that's why you're seeing a different number than like an REZ or a SUB or something. So they're all going to be the PB and just be a set of numbers afterwards. But obviously we'll give you the description afterwards. So just to clear that up. Moving forward. So this is another legislative request, and it's very similar to the Malott request that you all reviewed over the last couple of months. There's some very minor changes. Obviously, it's on a different property, and it's much more surrounded by the Chatham Park development, and it's also adjacent to Suttles Road and the 64 bypass. It is, again, another lengthy application, which you had all received in your packets. And I can just go over mainly the findings that are supposed to be met. And I believe all of them have been met. I think there might be one exception. Yeah, all the findings have been met or can be met. So very similar. If you all have any questions about it, then please feel free to let me know. The applicant is also on the call with their attorney, Nick Robinson. So if you have any questions, please we can address them at this time.
And if the applicant or Nick would like to make a presentation or representation to the board, we welcome it.
Great. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yes.
Good. Thanks so much, Janie and Mr. Chairman, planning board members and town staff. My name is Nick Robinson, as she said. Practice law here at Bradshaw Robinson Slaughter and Rayner in Pittsboro, 128 Hillsborough Street, 27312. And I'm glad to be here tonight on behalf of the applicant, which is GM Grantham SPE1 LLC, in this conditional rezoning request for the Grantham property, which is about 76 acres. As Janie said, I'm going to be brief tonight. We've just come through the very similar Malott rezoning request on your previous agenda. Right. And we thought that those meetings were very productive, and we learned a good deal as we walked through that process with you all. And so we've put those lessons to work for the planning board this time, and for this meeting by preparing for you the same kinds of visual presentations that you requested in Malott. And so hopefully we've anticipated the questions that you might have from what we just went through. And of course, our goal with tonight's review would be to hopefully come to the point where we can receive a recommendation from the planning board for approval. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Robbie Oldham from Withers Ravenel to sort of walk you through the project information using some of those same type visuals. And then after that, I'd just like to take literally less than a minute or two to point out a couple of things that are slightly different or adjustments that we made in the conditions for this project to make them match Malott. Show those to you, and that should be it for us. So Robbie, if you're there and ready, have at it.
Yeah, you have the floor, Robbie.
Okay, let me get my screen share. Good evening. Good to see everybody again. As Nick said, Robbie Oden, Withers Ravenel on behalf of the applicant. Okay, share. Okay, can everybody see the screen with a lot of pink and green on it? Okay.
Yes, sir.
It never highlights the window. So, okay. And I'm going to be brief too. So as Janie said, this is very, very similar to what we had on the agenda last month with the Malott tract rezoning. So it's a lot of the same exhibits, but did want to spend this little time and go through it. And then, as Janie also said, the Malott tract is up here. This is the Grantham tract that we're looking at right here. And Malott was surrounded by three sides with Chatham Park, but then was, adjacent to this property, RA2 zoning to the north. Well, Grantham is completely surrounded when you look at Highway 64 business right here. So then all this pink area that you see here is Chatham Park. This little bit darker pink area here is the Malott tract. We're proposing the same zoning use, the same use, which would be a combination of multifamily, single family, and townhomes. And so it even makes even more, sense to have this rezoning with the multifamily residential rezoning that we're proposing here. Part of this too, and this is showing the Chatham Parkway, the road extension through here, Granite Drive extension here. So really, like I said last time, a lot of this infrastructure is either in place, under construction, or basically being designed as currently right now. So we're bringing water, roads up through Grand Drive here. Chatham Parkway is already built up to right here. This will be completed in the next couple of years based on DOT's current schedule. And then I know the big question is sewer. Well, this will sewer basically to the Chatham Park Water Recovery Center. So, and it will be, sewer has to be, there's a lot of infrastructure that has to be extended, but again, we're just considering the rezoning now. But I know that's a big question on how sites are going to be, infrastructure is going to be serving these sites. I know, as Nick said, from last time we kind of learned, what would some of the questions or that you may have, and so what we did on this is actually we went ahead and did illustrative. We took the Chatham Park North Village illustrative and overlaid the Grantham rezoning right here, this outline in this purple here. So you can see the adjacent development next to it. I think it's just a good picture for everybody to understand what is going and being surrounded. I'll zoom in a little bit. So again, this is Chatham Parkway. This will be our village center in Chatham Park. This will be the multifamily that we're proposing with the Grantham track, and this will be the single family portion that in the yellow right here. Again, adjacent to them a lot, very similar, if not really the same use. This is the town park that's being proposed with the Malott track rezoning. And then, of course, we've got the Chatham County Elementary School site that was just approved the first of the year, which would be on a roughly 20 to 30 acre tract right here. And then this is more single family that's either under construction or under design that you see with my hand up here. And then go to the next. This is just, these exhibits, I just want to explain, I mean, these are just illustrative for this presentation. This is not what what we consider as being part of the actual application with regards to what we're proposing here. We're just trying to show the picture of what is basically being surrounded, which provides a lot of good information. But this is actually the graphic that's included in your packet. And of course, it includes the MR1 and MR2 with the maximum dwelling units that we're proposing, which is part of the conditions. Nick can talk about that a little bit later. So I know Ms. Mize, I don't think she's on the call tonight, but last time it was a good question. Hey, we know that you don't have, this is a rezoning, this is not a preliminary subdivision plan, this is not a preliminary plat, but what could we expect with the density? You're showing 330 units on the south side, you're 360 on the north side. What could it look like? Well, this is just a rendering that we did basically just, for this purpose, but this would be, again, this is what we would be proposing or anticipating with the rezoning. Could it change? Absolutely, and it probably will change. I'll go and tell you. But this just gives you an idea of how this could develop with apartments to the south here, and then with a mix of different products, townhome, single family attached to the north here. So I'll zoom in a little bit more because I know, again, it just helps to see a picture of this. Road connections will be tied into, we're showing that on the exhibit that you have in your packet, just road connection out to Suttles here. Another one to this stuff here that gets out to Chatham Parkway, and then of course another connection out to Suttles Road up here. Again, all that will be determined, once we do development plans, we'll get surveys. It's a process. You're familiar with that, but this gives you an idea of a picture of how it could develop with the proposed rezoning. And then finally, this is the exhibit. Again, I think it was some comments on Malott about connectivity, complete streets, and really, so you can see this shows greenways, multi-use trails, and bike lanes. The town's master plan does have a greenway coming through the site, so we're showing that along this stream. So this will be a public, we're proposing a public greenway trail. Again, it would have to be designed and permitted and, all that, but this is illustrative showing what we're proposing here, as well as a multi-use trail on Suttles Road. Again, that's going to be dependent on actual design and in coordination with DOT, environmental permitting that will be done through the development plan generation. The key with multi-use trail and Chatham Parkway, I know I brought this up last time, but this is a big deal. I mean, DOT is proposing a multi-use trail on both sides of Chatham Parkway. Chatham Park's proposing a multi-use trail on the north side of Grant Drive that will tie out to Chatham Parkway, as well as bike lanes. And you can also, we've included some of the proposed greenway trails and multi-use paths that's within the Chatham Park Small Area Plan. Action will be coming back to you in the next month or so, but it just shows how all these are interconnected. So with that, I just pan back to this exhibit, and I'll it's a good graphic that you can see, but and if you have any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer them.
One thing I did have that I almost forgot when I was looking back through the staff analysis is about finding 7 with this result in development that is adequately served by public facilities. And this was based on the Malott application as well about the Chatham Park PDD public facilities additional element, providing for the provision of schools, parks, police, and fire services in the Chatham Park PDD to serve the subject properties. So since these weren't originally part of it, it would be helpful for staff to have, I guess, some assurances that kind of the numbers have been run through, either like with a map or a spreadsheet or something showing that these projects can be supported.
And then, I guess, Janie, was that where you were referring to some of the spreadsheets and information you requested in the staff report? Was that what you were referring to with that, or is that something else?
Yeah, with the public facilities, because usually when, you know, it's like a rezoning, depending on how many residences and stuff, then that triggers, you know, other departments and other needs. And so we just want to make sure that, you know, if there's not going to be like the open space that's required because it's being served by Chatham Park, or like the recreation because it's served by Chatham Park, we need to see that that all works out.
Yeah. And I think all that, I mean, the way I understand it and the way what I would say to that is all that comes when we come in with a preliminary subdivision plan or with a preliminary site plan, just based on, you know, actually how many units we would be proposing. I mean, right now we're showing a max. We know that's a max, that's a cap. We could come in and, you know, who knows, the market may change in the year and we could be, you know, showing something completely different or less. We just, again, this would be a max of what we're showing here. I think that's part of that process with the development plan, but yeah, we can do that.
Very well. Questions from the board? Anything you'd like to put to Nick Robinson or to Robbie Oldham? Nick, I think you said you want to do a little summation here.
Yeah, if I could. And this, I think, Mr. Chairman, might be helpful and also brief. Let me just share my screen for just a second. Let's see here. There we go. Can you all see that?
Not yet.
Hold on. Here we go.
There we are.
Yeah. So these are the proposed conditions that we included in the application, and they're very similar to Malott. I just wanted to show you that as we worked our way through Malott before, we made a couple of changes along the way. And so rather than going through that whole process again, we just went ahead and made those same changes to the Grantham conditions. So I've highlighted them there. Staff had we had originally requested for credit for greenways, et cetera, within a mile of the boundary, and staff had requested that be cut back to a half a mile on Malott. And we did the same thing here on Grantham. And then also you all on the planning board, when you made your recommendation, you thought it would be helpful to the Board of Commissioners for us to go ahead and state as a condition the maximum number of dwelling units in each zone. So we went ahead and included that as a condition as well for Grantham, thinking that you would be of a similar mindset for this as you were on Malott. So I just wanted to point that out so you could see that and know that it was done.
Thanks very much, Nick and Robbie. That's all very clear. And thank you for the very clear illustrative graphics. It's for a visual learner like myself, it's a much easier way to grasp all of this. So thank you.
Yeah.
Board members, additional questions or comments for the applicants while we have them here?
I have a question for Janie.
Go ahead, Carl.
The table one setbacks and so forth. Are they looking for any reduced setbacks or concessions there, Janie?
Yes. Let me get to it though.
Okay.
I know I did kind of a breakdown on the last one, and since this was so similar, and honestly, we've been really busy, so I'm sorry I didn't do that again for
That's
you.
all right. That's all right.
But it's very similar. So the single family for front loaded, the front setback is 10 feet, where I think normally in the MR, I don't have my ordinance pulled up right now. It can be a bit further. I know the minimum lot area, like the smallest lot size we have is R5, which I haven't even seen any mapped R5 zoning. So the smallest lot size we have are R10, and they're proposing 3,000 square feet. And then for the townhomes, 1,800 square feet. So very small lot sizes. And yes, there are some reduced setbacks.
Okay. Are these comparable? I know this is not Chatham Park, but are these comparable to what we are doing in Chatham Park?
I believe it is. Molly's on the call, but also Robbie could answer that as well.
Yes, sir, Carl. They're pretty much exactly what we proposed in Chatham Park.
Okay.
I will say the townhomes, we've tried to follow the UDO. I mean, I know staff have gone through the, lower my hand, had gone through the UDO, in the last, year, especially in reworking the townhome standards. So we pretty much follow the townhome standards, but with the single family detached, it is pretty much the same as what we have proposed in Chatham Park.
Okay, thanks. No further questions.
No further questions or comments. I'll request a motion to either approve or deny the, I guess we do the land use consistency statement here, don't we, Janie?
Yes.
So at the board's pleasure, may I have a motion either to approve the consistency or deny it?
Carl, I move to approve the consistency statement.
Thanks, Carl. Anybody care to second that, or shall I? I'll second. All in favor of approving the amendment to the zoning map and the land use consistency statement? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed nay. Not hearing any objections. The application passes and goes on now to the town board. So thanks very much to the applicants. Robbie, Nick.
Yes.
Very nice presentation.
Excuse me, Eric, are we supposed to?
Oh, go ahead.
Do we not need to do approval as well as the consistency statement?
I thought Janie had said a couple of meetings ago that if we do the consistency and the approval all in one vote, it flies. Is that right, Janie?
Okay.
Yeah, if you can tell from the minutes that it was approved, then that's even fine. But Eric kind of called a motion to approve the consistency and then did a motion to approve both. It sounded like to me. So I think that's okay.
Okay, so if we're good.
We've got a couple lawyers on here. Or like three lawyers on here. So if anyone opposes
if anybody wants to back down on the second aspect of this, we'll take another vote. But
I think that's fine. Janie, there was that one little typo that was going to get fixed in the consistency statement resolution.
Yeah, I fixed it. I fixed it in my packet. So whenever it goes forward, I forgot to add that. That's didn't fine. Change it from inconsistent to consistent. So on the approval, It says inconsistent, but I changed it so it does say consistent. So when we print it off and you come in and sign it, it'll be correct.
But yeah, when I sign it, I'll make sure it's the correct one. Thanks for pointing that out, Nick.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, thanks for helping with that, and appreciate your attention this evening, y'all.
Thank you. Janie, planning staff updates.
So we all moved to a new office. We're now at Main Street Station, so 287 East Street. It's right next to Walgreens. right at the bottom of the hill there, across from Dollar Tree, Ace Hardware. We are upstairs in Suite 221A, and there are elevators in case you need to use them. And we each have offices. That's really nice. And we have a conference room. The land use plan is still trucking along. You all should be seeing it in March, hopefully. That's what we're aiming for, at least. We have a new interim town manager. His name is Larry Faison. He's been an interim, from what I've read, in one other place, maybe in a couple other places. So they restarted the search for the town manager again. And I think that's about all we have going on.
Do you have internet and all the other infrastructure at the new offices in place, Janie, or are you?
Yep, we're up and running.
Good. Well, I'll come by for a tour and to sign the paperwork later this week.
Okay.
Any other comments from the board or questions that you'd like to put forward? If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Ray, I'll let you have one.
Okay. All in favor of adjourning? Aye.
Thanks, Eric.
We stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.